Hey there, Soil Sorcery Studio family. Welcome back to another deep dive into the magical world beneath our feet. Today we're uncovering something truly extraordinary, a technique so powerful, so transformative, that once you understand it, you'll never look at your garden soil the same way again. What if the secret to your most vibrant garden isn't a fancy fertilizer, but something you can literally bury? Prepare to discover a revolutionary yet ancient technique involving buried logs that will transform your soil from tired to unstoppable. This isn't just about bigger plants. It's about a fundamentally healthier garden ecosystem that works tirelessly for you, season after season. Have you ever walked through an old-growth forest and marveled at the lush vegetation thriving without a single bag of fertilizer or drop of irrigation? The secret lies not in what you can see, but in what's hidden beneath the forest floor. Fallen trees, slowly decomposing over decades, create a living sponge system that holds moisture, feeds countless organisms, and releases nutrients in perfect synchronization with plant needs. This is nature's blueprint for unstoppable soil, and we're bringing it straight into your garden through a technique called Hügelkultur, German for hill culture. This method transforms your understanding of soil from a passive growing medium into an active, breathing ecosystem. When you bury logs beneath your garden beds, you're essentially installing a biological battery that charges up your soil for years, sometimes decades. The wood acts as a reservoir, a habitat, and a slow-release nutrient system all at once. Ancient European farmers practiced this technique for centuries, and modern permaculture pioneers have rediscovered its incredible potential. What makes this approach truly revolutionary is its ability to turn what many consider waste, fallen branches, pruned limbs, and aging wood, into your garden's most valuable asset. The magic of buried logs begins with their remarkable capacity to hold water. As wood decomposes, it becomes increasingly porous, developing a sponge-like structure that can absorb and retain moisture at levels that would make any irrigation system jealous. During wet periods, the logs soak up excess water, preventing waterlogging and nutrient leaching. When dry spells hit, this stored moisture is gradually released back into the surrounding soil, creating a self-regulating hydration system that can reduce your watering needs by as much as 50 to 70% once the system matures. This is especially transformative for gardeners in drought-prone regions or those looking to create more water-wise landscapes. Beyond water retention, buried wood becomes a five-star hotel for beneficial fungi, particularly mycorrhizal networks that form symbiotic relationships with plant roots. These fungal allies extend far beyond what roots can reach on their own, accessing nutrients and water from surprising distances and delivering them directly to your plants in exchange for sugars. The fungi colonizing your buried logs also break down lignin and cellulose, slowly releasing nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and countless micronutrients in plant-available forms. This decomposition process accelerates over time, meaning your soil actually gets richer with each passing year rather than depleting. You're essentially creating a slow-release fertilizer that works on nature's timeline, feeding your plants exactly what they need when they need it. The structural benefits are equally impressive. As logs break down, they create air pockets and channels throughout the soil profile, preventing compaction even in heavy clay soils. This improved structure encourages deep root penetration, allowing plants to establish stronger foundations and access resources from greater depths. The result is plants that are more resilient to stress, more productive, and more resistant to pests and diseases. The decomposing wood also generates gentle warmth through the microbial activity it hosts, extending your growing season slightly and giving seedlings a nurturing environment to establish themselves. This living, breathing soil ecosystem works around the clock, transforming your garden beds into self-sustaining systems that improve exponentially over time. Not all wood is created equal when it comes to building your underground ecosystem, and choosing the right materials can mean the difference between spectacular success and frustrating setbacks. Hardwoods like oak, maple, ash, and fruit tree wood are exceptional choices because they decompose slowly and steadily, providing long-lasting benefits that can persist for 20 years or more. Softer hardwoods like poplar, willow, and alder break down more quickly, which can be advantageous if you want faster nutrient release, though they won't provide the extended longevity of denser woods. Even softwoods like pine and fir can work, though they decompose faster and should ideally be mixed with harder woods for balanced, sustained performance. The ideal logs range from 4 to 12 inches in diameter, large enough to hold substantial moisture and provide long-term structure, yet small enough to begin decomposing within a reasonable time frame. Wood that's already begun to decay is actually preferable to fresh-cut logs, because the decomposition process has already initiated, meaning you'll see benefits sooner. Logs with bark still attached are perfect, as the bark itself harbors beneficial organisms that will jumpstart your system. When sourcing your wood, look for untreated timber only. Never use pressure-treated lumber, painted wood, or anything exposed to chemicals, as these toxins will leach into your soil and harm the very ecosystem you're trying to build. One critical consideration is understanding nitrogen dynamics during the initial decomposition phase. Fresh wood, especially in smaller pieces, temporarily ties up nitrogen as decomposer organisms multiply and work to break down the carbon-rich material. This is called nitrogen immobilization, and it can briefly create nitrogen deficiency in your plants, if not properly managed. The solution is simple. Add generous layers of nitrogen-rich materials like compost, manure, or green plant matter above and around your logs to maintain nitrogen availability while decomposition ramps up. Alternatively, using wood that's already partially decomposed sidesteps this issue entirely, as much of the initial nitrogen demand has already been satisfied. Understanding this balance ensures your plants thrive from day one rather than experiencing an adjustment period. Creating your hugelculture bed begins with excavation, though the depth depends on your goals and physical capabilities. For a traditional in-ground approach, dig a trench approximately 2 to 3 feet deep and as long and wide as your intended bed. This excavated soil will be used to cover your logs, so set it aside carefully. Begin layering your logs at the bottom of the trench, positioning the largest pieces first and filling gaps with progressively smaller branches and twigs. The goal is to create a dense wood foundation with minimal air spaces, maximizing the volume of organic matter you're installing. If digging deep seems daunting, you can also create above-ground hugelculture mounds by simply laying logs on the surface and building up around them with soil and organic matter. The principles remain identical. Once your wood layer is established, you'll want to start covering it with organic materials in a logical sequence that mimics how the forest floor is built up. Add a layer of nitrogen-rich materials like fresh grass clippings, manure, or green plant matter directly on the wood. This helps inoculate it with decomposer organisms and provides nitrogen for the initial breakdown phase. Next, you should follow this with partially decomposed materials, such as leaf mold or aged compost. Then, top everything off with your excavated soil mixed with some finished compost. The resulting bed will be raised, which creates excellent drainage and helps it warm up quickly in spring. Over time, the mound will settle as decomposition progresses, but honestly, this settling is actually beneficial. It creates an increasingly rich, fluffy growing medium that roots absolutely love. The principles of buried wood extend far beyond backyard garden beds, offering solutions for landscape-scale challenges that conventional approaches, honestly, just struggle to address. In food forests and permaculture designs, hugelculture forms the foundation of swales and terraces that capture and infiltrate water while building soil in previously unproductive areas. Steep slopes prone to erosion can be stabilized by burying logs along contour lines, creating level planting terraces that hold soil in place while establishing deep-rooted perennials. These installations become increasingly stable over time as roots penetrate through and around the decomposing wood, essentially reinforcing the landscape from within. Urban environments with compacted, lifeless soil can be revitalized using this technique, transforming vacant lots and degraded parks into thriving green spaces. The buried wood creates the soil structure and biology that urban soils desperately lack, establishing conditions where trees, shrubs, and diverse plant communities can flourish without ongoing inputs. Community gardens embracing hugelkultur report remarkable improvements in productivity and dramatic reductions in water use, making gardening accessible even in water-restricted areas. This approach aligns perfectly with climate adaptation strategies, creating resilient landscapes that sequester carbon, build soil, and produce abundance even as environmental conditions shift. By adopting buried log techniques, you're joining a growing movement of gardeners and land stewards who understand that healthy soil is the foundation of a healthy planet. Every log you bury represents carbon sequestered from the atmosphere, habitat created for beneficial organisms, and a step toward regenerative systems that heal rather than deplete. This isn't just about growing better tomatoes, though you absolutely will. It's about participating in something larger, demonstrating that abundance and sustainability aren't opposing forces, but natural partners. Your garden becomes a living example of what's possible when we work with nature's patterns, rather than against them, creating ecosystems that thrive with minimal intervention while supporting maximum life. If this technique has sparked your imagination, and you're ready to transform your own growing spaces, I'd love to hear about your experiences in the comments below. Share your questions, your successes, and even your challenges. We're all learning together in this incredible journey of soil sorcery. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss our deep dives into regenerative gardening techniques, and hit that share button to spread the word to fellow gardeners who are ready to unlock their soil's true potential. Together, we're not just growing gardens, we're cultivating a movement toward healthier soil, healthier food, and a healthier planet. Now get out there and start burying some logs. Your future self will thank you.